Have you ever thought about why some people have motivation that seems very natural to them and while others it takes a bit of more of a struggle? Well, it doesn't come overnight for everybody. And so there are patterns for motivation depending on how they were brought up. And I'll share some common patterns that I learned while working for a prestigious coach. In 2009, she's part of the Canfield's Transformational Leadership Council, which is an exclusive group for higher achieving life coaches. So what I learned is that there are some obvious factors, so that the people who are more motivated, obviously they achieve more, but why is that? So she noticed that she had clients who came from wealthy backgrounds, and she also noticed clients' behaviors, patterns, who came from backgrounds where there was more struggle and more trial and error and hard work for the most part, for the majority of them. She found that the people who were the most unmotivated were the people who came from wealthy families. Now, why is that? Well, in order for us to grow optimally, we need both a balance of challenge and support. And so, in her experience, the common patterns, not for everyone, the common patterns of what happened was that for the wealthy families, it was a lot easier to make choices that had their children like them. Whereas in order to make choices for your children to express love, it takes more effort and takes more care, because it's not just a matter of giving money or giving a present, something material. It takes thought, it takes effort, it takes courage to teach children how to think for themselves on a long-term basis. So it's not just for short-term satisfaction, it's actually for a long-term gain, and teach them how to have critical thinking as well as how to think about consequence and experience consequences. So she found that with her wealthy clients, often they would give their children money, they would over-support them. And the thing is that we need, as I said, challenge and support, because if we're over-supported, we're not going to be strong enough on our own when we're out on our own. And so she found that the people who had hard lives, for the most part, as I said most, they had the gusto, they had the drive, they had the horsepower to go after their goals and their visions, because they had gone through pain, because they had gone through disappointments and so-called failures. I think, failures are necessary for us to reassess our lives and reevaluate and take time out so that we can integrate the new learnings. Now, if you didn't have so-called failures, then it would be hard to grow. It's like the learning curve is like a staircase, in that you go up, you learn, and then it doesn't go exactly as it planned, and then that's the level part of the stairway. And then once you've integrated the new learning, then you go up again. So it's like up and then across, up and across, like the stairway. And so if we were learning too fast of a curve, like just consistently learning, we're not going to integrate learning as well as if we had those pauses to really think about and assess what we did correctly, or what we did according to our standards, or what our intention was. And so it's necessary to go through the so-called failures, and the best thing to do is to make it really hard to fail at anything. For example, you can say to yourself, the only time I fail is when I stop trying. If you make it really easy for you to fail, then you're making it too hard for yourself, and when you make it too hard for yourself, then you're not supporting yourself, you're beating yourself up. And if you have a teammate, if you beat your teammate up, they're not going to do very well. So you need to treat yourself like your own best friend. For people who have gone through rock bottom, who've had it really hard, who experience pain and suffering, they are, like say they're down here, with this pain and suffering, they have more spring to get to where they want to go. Like say this is the goal, and then this is like all their hard experiences and their pain. So now they have this spring that can go like this. It's much more of a spring than if they were over-supported, got everything they needed, and were given handouts, were given jobs. They didn't have to work their way up. They were just given for the most part. Then their leverage would not start from here, but it would start somewhere in the middle. And their spring would be a lot less had they actually gone through pain and suffering. And they would have this, horsepower and gusto and drive. Without that, it's a lot tougher to achieve goals and something that you envision because you haven't obtained that courage. You haven't stretched your muscles, you haven't strengthened your muscles. Test of your faith, your courage, believing in yourself, trusting the universe. There's all these tests before you have what it takes to actually go after what you want. The motivation takes time to overcome doubt. Whenever we try something new, everybody has doubt, everybody has some anxiety, which is the same thing as fear, or stress even, another code word for fear. And we all experience that, the majority of us, when we try something new. When we persevere and when we don't care about what other people think, do it regardless of whether we get validation or not, and just start to listen for ourselves inside. And as we do that more and more, then that grows our personal power or intuition. And that's the difference of the patterns with people who are motivated and who aren't. The ones who are motivated, they've stuck it out, so to speak. They've persevered. They've spent hours and hours with themselves to get to know themselves better, to beat themselves at their own game. Because the competition isn't outside of us, the competition is within us. And if you're competing outside of yourself with other people, you will win, but at the end of the day, your reputation is with yourself, and you're the only one who can give you approval. If you're always constantly wanting approval from others or validation from others, you'll never feel peace or fulfilled. Once you learn to how to love yourself, to respect yourself, and that's when the self-respect and self-love grows, and you end up attracting like minds, and your vibration increases, and you start to attract higher vibrational people and experiences. Then there's the ease and flow that creates. Because you created that ease and flow, it's intentional. It's a conscious choice. It's choosing to reflect with your inner wisdom as opposed to constantly searching for answers outside of you. And when you do that, then the motivation starts to be innate and more consistent, and you want to do it just naturally. It's no longer a struggle. I just wanted to give an example about that spring. I think that was really interesting. So the spring from here and to here, when you've gone through pain and struggle, it actually helps you in the long run. I'm not saying aim for pain and struggle. I'm just saying it's part of the process. It's part of the human condition. It helps us to have more gusto, more horsepower, help us to have more courage, because you can't go from being fearful to courage like this. I mean, some people can, that's a very small percentage, but the majority of people need to learn incrementally and build upon their last success in order to be stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where they're very happy with themselves. And that's what it takes to create a consistent motivation. And there are other things you can do, like there's foods you can eat, there's exercise in the morning, there's cold showers, there's lots you can do to help with your motivation. But I found that it was helpful to know about the pattern. If you have it too easy, you're not doing yourself any favors. I'm Elaine, I'm a subconscious coach, I'm a natural healer, and I'm here to share insights and perspectives to help you empower yourself so that you can live a fulfilling life. I'll talk to you in another video, and thanks for watching. Bye for now. Reach out to me if you need help. See ya.